This is an HR program on demand, a living seed capsule of work life and workplace coming live from a rooftop in Stockholm, Sweden. It's me, Ann-Marie Andrich, and
me, Katarina Berg.
A vodcast, if you like, on HR straight across the counter, sponsored by HR The Real Deal, HR by HR for HR. Hello, Katarina.
Hey, Ann-Marie.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
And here we are on this very, very brisk morning in Stockholm with this beautiful view, but it's super cold, isn't it?
It's lovely.
Yeah.
I love it.
I know you do.
It's really, really nice.
Yeah, excellent. So why don't we, let's start with what's on your mind currently. What's cooking, what's boiling, what's keeping you awake at night?
I think it's two things, but maybe it should be three, right? But let's start with the first one. I have, for the longest time, noticed one thing, and you know this for sure too. Every time you launch something or you communicate something from your company, and it's getting picked up, obviously that is a good thing. But this is also when all consultants, all companies that are doing exactly what you just launched reach out to you and ask you if they can help you.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't need the help. You just launched the thing. And obviously you have been working with it a lot. And the way that we do everything, it is, with DIBS, it's data, insights, beliefs and bets. And usually it's not something that we sneeze out, just for fun. And they should maybe poach or poke or connect with the companies that are silent within the subject. Have you experienced the same thing?
I totally agree. And the way that you put it, sneeze out, you're not sneezing out anything, right?
For sure not.
No, and I agree with you. And I don't know, what kind of psychology that is, but that is typically what happens. You launch something and then you have like a zillion approaches, especially on social media, saying, hey, I heard that you're doing this, maybe you need some help, which is, I don't know. I really don't know why that is happening. But yes, I agree with you. It happens a lot.
And you cannot win. It's like,
No.
Okay, so if you tell them the truth, hey, since you saw the launch, you saw our program, you know what we're doing in the space, and now you're reaching out to help us. What's wrong with you? Then you come across as arrogant.
Yes.
Right? And if you say, oh, okay, let's chat, but about what? You just launched the thing, and,
Right.
and you put a lot of thought and, careful thinking into the whole program. So maybe you don't need that help, or maybe you needed them when you started to think about that, which usually is then a couple of weeks, month, or even years ahead.
Yeah.
So it's one of those that I have to say, it annoys me a lot, and I never get poked of things that we should start to think about or that we are wrestling with and don't know how to get further with. And I think connected to that, the second thing that is on my mind is, okay, so when people do reach out on things that you do, or things that you don't do, it's usually, let me help you or your organization with this. They never Googled you. They never Googled your company, which is even more important, right? They never Googled your team or what you are about, your stance in things. And usually they ask you to help you again with the things that you might not be world class, or you might even be world class. And how do you answer that?
You don't. So basically what we're saying is that if you are to do your sales pitch successfully, it might be good if you do a bit of research before you reach out. That's basically what we're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing that we need to talk about, and that is one of your black belts, is work from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
We've seen media, we've seen a lot of companies for sure saying that we are thinking about this and this is what we are thinking. You happen to work for a company that is worldwide famous, but you work for, do I say right when I say Nordics or
Sweden? Yeah.
So I'm talking about Microsoft.
Yes.
It's now close to 10 years ago when you launched in Swedish the nya arbetslivet, or new ways of working, right?
Yeah.
And here we are 10 years later. I just launched something together with Spotify that we call Work From Anywhere, where the foundation and a lot of the ideas that you put really well into place and motion, even if it was more or less a Swedish program and for your sales and marketing team.
Yes.
But the connection between the holy triangle of people, place, and technology. Tell me a bit about how does that feel to be kind of pioneers, and also hearing all these companies launch, this is a new thing, or this is super accelerated by work from home or the pandemic either. What's going on in your head and in your soul and in your body when you hear all that?
Well, first of all, I have to say that it's I'm proud.
Yes.
I'm proud of the fact that I was part of a team back in the days, 10 years ago. This is actually 2011, 2012. We started this journey on the new world of work, right, or future work at Microsoft Sweden. And we obviously it had started in the Netherlands before at Microsoft. So we took that and we looked at, so what does this mean for us in Sweden? And I think if I look back now, I am proud of the fact that we were, as you say, we were pioneering. We looked into the future and we saw that the future of work will change, regardless of whether we like it or not. And especially with regards to technology. We were also looking at, so what does this mean now for the office space on how we work, right? If we can work anywhere, what does this mean for the office? So when people actually want to come into the office, how do we then make sure that we have areas that are there for collaboration that would increase productivity, but would also increase that social connection and interaction that is so important.
Right.
And I think that if I look back now, all of the things that we were preaching about by our own experience, it's interesting to see that the virus, 10 years later, the virus actually accelerated the future of work rather rapidly. And I think what we were very clear on then is proven to be right even today, is that you cannot look at the future of work if you don't look at the three pillars. You have to focus on the people in the organization. Where are they? What do they need? And what does this mean from a leadership perspective? Because leading distributed or virtually is a completely different skill set from a leadership perspective than it is if you see your people every single day in a physical place. And then obviously you need to adjust your people processes and the way that you work to adapt to this virtual and distributed work. And then you also obviously need to look at the second thing, which is the office space. How do you enable that creativity, innovation, and collaboration when you meet in the office and make sure that you have areas that suit every purpose of your work, even in the office, not only from the cafe or country house or the customers or working from home, but when we meet in the office, this should actually serve its purpose as well. And then the third pillar is technology. And I think, again, the corona has accelerated digitalization for those companies who obviously needed that acceleration, right? But those three pillars are the ones that are going to be super important and are actually important for the future of work.
Very true.
Yeah.
And I think also there where maybe some companies and also some voices are maybe connecting and also collecting the dots wrongly is that technology is not here to replace that connectivity.
No, not at all.
We do need that human touch. We need to come in. We hear from all the people that we work with today and the service that we do with our employees that I can't long to come in. I can't wait to get into the office. I long to come into the office and when it comes to creativity and ideate and be innovative together, it's very, very important to find that place in that space. But maybe also the way that we have been thinking about it, we use these last 12 months to rebuild our offices, that place that you are talking about, that we don't think that it has played its role. It's just going to play a different role.
Definitely.
It's going to enhance a couple of things,
Yes.
and it's going to be used in a different way. And how do we, instead of just talking about the change, how do we use the most of the time now when people are out from the office to actually prepare, so when everybody is able to come back, everybody has gotten their vaccine shots, and society is open and safe again. How do we prepare so we are exactly where our people are? And I think what strikes me with your story and where you and your team back then, where it's always hard to be too early, right?
Yeah.
This is where everybody, including myself, hey, is that really the right way? Is that the good thing? But I think where we meet each other, and also where fast forward now where we are, and I think most companies would sign off from, kind of the gospel that you and Helene Lidström, used to sing back then.
And the rest of the team,
and
the
rest of
Swedish team. Yeah.
And the rest of the team. I think that gospel, what resonates with everybody now is that we know for sure that the technology is there.
Yes.
We hear from the people, but we also, I think, are able to hear both sides, right? The people that says, I can't wait to get into the office, we hear you. The people that says, my life and my life situation, actually, if I could either move back from where I'm from or work from home some days, do that typical 3-2-2 or I actually commute very, very far.
Yes.
And very long, and it's not efficient for you, it's not efficient for me or my family or the things that also makes me happy in life. How can I maybe stop on half the way and with a co-working or co-office space kind of solution? So I think it's more things that has grown into it, but I think you led the way, and we for sure were very inspired by that when we started to work, and then of course we needed to do a different type of jigsaw, putting the pieces of labor law, taxes, how can we help support and pay for home office without breaking any laws in any country or any state? What happens if you then move overstates or move to different countries, or you become a totally digital nomad? How can we make sure that they are insured? But instead of hiding behind all these things, we just decided that we would launch this program last week, and then be very humble about we don't know everything, but we're not going to talk anymore, we're going to do. And then we also going to learn from the things and keep doing those surveys with a kind of pretty big amount of people. In our case, 6,500. And I think, the validation of what they say and how we can improve, but mostly to be able to tap into new talent pools.
Yes.
And how that will help us also drive and stay real when it comes to diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Yes, with some new challenges, but also helping us to remove other challenges where, people with disabilities and people with, mental health issues, it will be easier maybe for them to pick a place to work where they feel safe on those maybe a bit more challenge days than others. So I think there is so many, pros. There will be a couple of cons too, I think, but this is where the flexibility and the freedom comes in.
Definitely, and I think, and I was also, when you launched your working from anywhere, that's the way that you frame it, right? Your journey.
Yeah, we talk about that. We also talk about dynamic workplace, because
right.
it's a dynamic kind of growth, and we want to become distributed first, but we do understand that will not be day one, right? So this is the first and maybe the second step on that journey to become a distributed first company. Yeah,
and I think I was also very inspired to see sort of how you framed it. Obviously, with the background
yes.
of the new world of work that I experienced myself. I think sort of the mantra, work is not a place you go to, it's something that you do. Mm-hmm. That is sort of the baseline for everything, right?
True.
And I think that every company then, especially now, 2021, need to think about, what does this mean for us? Obviously the technology is there, but what does this mean for Spotify? What does it mean for Husqvarna or the other companies, right?
Yeah.
And I think where you can I think definitely you need to make that homework. You can get inspired by other companies. Obviously, you are a big inspiration. Spotify is a big inspiration. But I think at the end of the day, each company need to figure out themselves, how do we do this so that it fits our culture, our journey, and actually our industry and our business. And this is where also one of the biggest learning through my Microsoft journey, and what we then also shared knowledge about, was that don't copycat. Do that homework yourself, because it has to fit to who you are and your journey going forward.
Yep.
And I think this is where I think you've made that twist really nice. It fits to your culture, your DNA, who you are. Another thing that I just, also think is, if we look at the workplace today and, the talent pools of today, the talent is global.
Yes.
So we all compete for the same skills, the same competences, regardless of industry and business. So I think to not embark on this journey is actually going to hurt your business.
Yeah.
And you have to think about, where do we find talent, and how can we enable talent to work where it fits them the best. So I'm really looking forward to, how do you approach this and what the outcomes are. And needless to say, you will share this with the world.
Yeah. So should we, it's one thing that is like also on my mind, should we sign off with that?
Yes.
And I'm thinking this, and you don't know where I'm going with this, but the thing is, if I would propel this work, because I think you are so right, that it has to come from who you are and your core beliefs and your values, and also the culture and the community today, but also near future and tomorrow for your organization. But to have somebody like you, or team up with, the experience and the pioneers. I mean, the company that you work for today, I think they are so lucky to have all that experience to actually pivot this work. But if I would be any company around the world, especially if you are in Stockholm, and I know that you're movable too, but I would tap into the team of Helene Lidström and Anne-Marie Andrich to just do this, and then on top of that, tweak and twist the things. So with no further ado, it's pretty cold, it's pretty brisk.
It's pretty cold, and you need to put this hat
I need
on.
to put a hat on. So with that said, stay safe, stay active, stay strong, and please stay warm.
Exactly.
Idemodalje.
Hello, Katarina.
Hi, Anne-Marie.
So good to have you on this rooftop again. Sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. It's so good to have you on the rooftop.
again.
That is not good.
Oh my God.
Okay.